K-pop villains, demon hunters, had to pay for every dirty deed, from stealing souls to creating chaos on stage. Today we're going to show you their crimes and find out if they'd get years in prison, massive fines, or even be exiled from the planet, like they did to poor Galactus.
Poor little ugly thing.
Friends, make yourselves comfortable because this is about to get
criminal.
The Saja boys aren't just villains for fun. These guys really plan ambitious heists, starting with their leader, Gwima. Besides being a terrible boss, this guy exploits his own demons just to feed himself while they do all the dirty work. Enslaving others is already a crime in itself. And let's not forget his labor exploitation of his own demons. So for this crime of labor exploitation and enslavement, Gwima would receive a death sentence.
Let me guess, they escaped again.
I understand that you're weak, pathetic, useless.
In his first appearance, we see him punishing the demon who failed to kill the hunters. He tortures her without mercy, friends. If Jinu hadn't arrived in time, who knows what could have happened to her. For torture and attempted first-degree murder, Gwima would bear a 28-year prison sentence, a death sentence for the torture, and a huge fine of $150,000. What if we get really tough, more like police with Gwima? Since it's mentioned that he has the need to devour as many souls as possible,
He devoured souls like a victory. Hunger eats away at his dignity. If he doesn't get souls, his cravings won't be satisfied.
we can already add mass murder and terrorism to the list. His attack on the girl's plane proves it. He endangered many innocent people. If we count that for each murder, he'd get 25 years, and for the acts of terrorism, a death sentence. For playing God. Friends, his sentence literally becomes insanity and nothing more. Because of this, he would end up with about 3,000 years in prison and another death sentence. But before you start worrying and feeling sorry for this Chinese guy, the advantage of Gwima is that he's immortal, so he can serve all those sentences without breaking a sweat. But watch out, because even though he can withstand centuries, the damage he did to dear Jinu left him scarred forever. And there's no court or sentence that can save him from that. Therefore, Gwima's crimes are mass murder, manipulation, labor exploitation, enslavement, coercion, terrorism, and first-degree murder. With so much barbarity, the minimum he would get would be 2 death sentences, a life sentence, 3,028 years in prison, and $1 million debt. Basically, he would have to work at OXO for life, and even then it wouldn't be enough to pay what he owes. Now it's time to talk about Jinu. And yes, even though we love him and have him on a pedestal as a handsome hunk, the truth is we have to admit that he committed really selfish acts just to get rid of the hunters. His most serious crime was hurting Rumi's heart, and that, my friends, should be a federal crime. But that's not where it ends. Jinu is the public face of the Aya Boys, the idol who smiles on magazine covers and makes everyone fall for him.
And what does this mean? That every crime committed by the group falls even harder on him.
Soul theft, manipulation, deception, chaos, everything gets piled on his back as if it were his world tour. So we're going to judge him as the black sheep of the band. And even though he shines on stage, in court, he'll be more like the star of the guilty. These kids weren't satisfied with just selling you the official light stick, they also stole your soul. Every concert was a ritual to suck out your energy and give it to their demon daddy, Gwima. In the real world, this would be considered mass spiritual murder, but we'll count it as regular murder. So assuming about 5,000 people attended the concert, and if they gave him 10 years in prison for each one, that would be 50,000 years in prison. Plus, on top of that, a death sentence. For going around blowing party horns? I mean souls! Everyone came out more sucked dry than a mango, with songs like Your Idol and Soda Pop. They hypnotized the audience to control them, kind of like what Plankton did in the SpongeBob movie. These are crimes of coercion, fraud, and mass manipulation. And for those crimes, of course, he deserves his respective 25 years in prison. Plus $1. $100,000 fine for the psychologist. Of the hypnotized ones, they made them look like perfect idols with divine choreography, but in reality, they were demons in disguise. They even cloned Mira and Zoe to confuse Rumi, so this isn't just a small thing. For fraud, identity theft, and mass deception, they get another 25 years added to their prison sentence. And it wasn't enough with Rumi. Almost wanted to break the magical barrier that protects humanity. That's basically like trying to blow up the wall between us and the apocalypse. And as a judge would say, it's terrorism and a major attack against global security. And the sentence for these apocalyptic crimes, no matter what, is the death penalty. Through rituals, concerts, and even attacks on airplanes, they put thousands of people at risk. Multiple homicide, attempted homicide, and endangering the public. For these crimes, they get 15 years for each victim. Do the math. Not even a calculator is enough. And they didn't just hurt you physically, they also broke your heart. They deceived Rumi, made Jinu doubt, and manipulated emotions. This, believe it or not, is a crime. It's called coercion and emotional abuse. So let your ex know the police are already on their way to their house. And for this, they get another 10 years in prison. So the Saja boys would end up with charges of coercion, fraud, and identity theft. Mass manipulation of 10,000, terrorism, mass murder, and mass destruction. And they would have to pay with 125 years in prison, 3 death sentences, and $100,000, besides returning everything they earned from each of their concerts. So if the Saya boys existed in real life, not even with 200 immortal lives would they get out free. They'd be getting long sentences with judges asking, life in prison? More like, I'll leave you crooked. And there you have it, friends. The Saya boys were not only the sexiest group in the underworld, but also the most wanted by the law. In the real world, they would already be on the blacklist of Interpol, the FBI, the Procuraduría General de la República, and even their grandma, who would ban them from entering her house. But now I ask you, which of all these crimes do you think is the most unforgivable? Stealing souls, attacking planes, or breaking Rumi's heart? Leave it in the comments, subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next Hunters.